Hey there, Ideal Protein Nation and beyond. I am so excited to get this podcast out today. We are running behind schedule. I'm sorry. I took a vacation. I had to reset, if you will, but it was so worth it. So let's get to this. I don't want to waste much time because Tracy and I have a ton of content for you. You're going to love everything that this lady has to say. So let's get to it. For those of you who don't know, the Life Possible podcast spotlights successful clients, coaches, and clinic owners who have used the Ideal Protein program to reset their body, reset their mind, and reset what's possible. You know, these individuals truly have had life-changing experiences, and as a result, they're pursuing goals and dreams that they thought were dead and gone. They're pursuing goals and dreams they never thought they could. In fact, a lot of them are pursuing goals and dreams they never even dreamed they wanted to. In short, they're living a life that they love so much that they don't feel the need to escape from it. They're living a life that's so precious now that they can't imagine ever going back to the way it was before. You know, it's my hope that you see and hear these individuals' stories and you connect with something inside of them, and that you understand that these people are just like you and me. And if we can do it, you can do it. That's the whole message here. It's my hope that we can get this podcast to reach as many people as possible and help them to start their journey to transformation through the Ideal Protein Protocol. Who am I? Well, my name is John Barnes. And about 5 years ago, boy, I got to tell you, I was fat, sick, and depressed. There's no two ways about it. And I didn't see a way out. But as far as I'm concerned, I truly believe that God brought me the Ideal Protein program as the answer to many of my prayers, both personally and professionally 5 years ago. You know, initially I lost 45 pounds, but more than that, it totally changed my life. So many symptoms and health issues I had developed healed, and my energy and life returned. You know, through this personal experience, I discovered that the true power of this protocol is more what it does for us on the inside than anything it does on the outside. So it has been my passion to research and understand fully this power of the protocol beyond mere weight loss to actually reset metabolic health, and further now actually into human performance. I'm now over 60 pounds down from my original weight, and I'm living life possible by training and racing in the sport of triathlon after over 25 years of inactivity. Did not ever think that I would get back to that, having gone as far as I did. So let's get on to our guest. Man, Tracy Gardner. Tracy Gardner started her Ideal Protein journey in 2010 with a standalone Ideal Protein clinic of her own, with a passion to help people. That's truly what is deep down in this lady's heart. Today, she has risen through the company to become a customer engagement manager with Ideal Protein, which was formerly an RDC since July of 2012, and now has a passion to help clinic partners and coaches to provide the best experience possible to help more patients and clients with their struggle with obesity and weight loss, and most importantly, lifestyle maintenance. Her focus is to motivate, inspire, and empower clinics and coaches that she works with to be at the top of their game, to grow the Ideal Protein portion of their practice, and assist them to get the healthiest outcomes for their patients and clients. Her joy comes when she has a clinic partner or coach who are passionate and motivated to go all in, and it works the same with dieters as well. The ones that go all in and do the work at 100% get the results that they desire. You know, like all of us, Tracy didn't always have it together like she does today. She had her own struggles and lost weight initially as a child. She battled emotional eating issues for years until after her third child was actually born, and she started a journey of weightlifting and low-carb living. Prior to Ideal Protein, she worked for her family's businesses in petroleum, travel centers, convenience stores, and restaurants, along with many other things. She is a self-proclaimed change and personal growth junkie, and she wants to challenge you to think about the way you think about everything. In change, there is great power. All this came from years of working on her own self-love and learning to surrender control, to be more flexible, and to do the work herself to be able to serve and help more people. She is passionate about helping all people feel empowered to take the leap, pursue results, and truly experience transformation in areas of mind, body, and spirit. Her true passion is to help others with weight loss and lifestyle management. Over the years, she has learned that the keys to getting the results that are desired for weight loss and lifestyle change are mindset and consistency, which in turn will affect all areas of one's life. Ultimately, it is her mission to serve more people, provide exceptional value, and to help others design their best life possible. I want you to welcome Tracy Gardner. Tracy, where are you? There you are. Hey.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. I tell you, we've had some fun together over the past couple weeks, and I am so excited that we did not record the episode before I left.
No, that was an
That
epic. We do fail. We do fail. We were tired.
It was a train wreck, and you know, we had fun with it, and we do have some bloopers that maybe we'll get out later, but the content that you have given me since, and what this show is going to be is just is beyond belief. So let's get started. Let's get this train moving. So one of the things, you know, we met in Dallas.
Yes.
At the Ideal Protein seminar in Dallas, and ever since then we've been Facebook friends. And like I like to say, with a lot of the people that I met there, I'm a Facebook fan for sure. All of the things that you pump out in your different, you know, whether it's your personal feed or whether it's your business feed, et cetera, are so amazing, and I love seeing them. So one of your feeds is Grace, Glamour, and Grit. And I can't think of three better words to describe you as a person, even before I saw this. So tell me about how did this come about? Why do you use this as your mantra?
You know, it was a platform, and I wanted to give more. And thank you for saying that I do inspire you, and the same back and forth. I mean, everything you do is, you know, I feel the same. But for me, number one is my faith. And so everything I do, I always come from grace. And glamour, when I say glamour, it isn't about the clothes we wear or how we look or even being pretty. It is all about, you know, what we put in our body, you know, and what we create. So whatever that is, that's your glamour. And then, but I always like to say, I like to be a little stylish and elegant. And then grits, those are those daily grinds, the goals that we have. You know, it's like the ultimate concern, the ultimate change that we want to do. So grit is just, you know, when you fall, it's how you pick yourself back up. And I like to pick myself back up with grace. So why not pick ourselves up with grace? Because we're all going to fall. So it's just kind of something that I put out there because I just really like to empower and change people's lives and impact them the best way I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are three very, very powerful words, and I love how you define them. So, you know, interestingly enough, on my drive in this morning to work, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, a sermon from Pastor Louis Giglio at Passion City in Atlanta. And man, it brought home to me once again, that we did the right thing by not recording the other day, and that today was the actual day. You know, and basically the crux of the main point of his sermon was that true transformation starts in the mind. And, you know, he built it all around this verse. And I know that, you know, you and I share faith as one of the foundations of everything that we do and our passion. And, you know, this verse from Romans 12, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's what today is all about. Today is, and I thought this was amazing because I know that the butterfly is very special for you too. And we will wrap up the show talking about that. So get ready, get your pens, buckle up, get your pens and papers, and let's transform our mind.
Let's do it.
So, and that was the other thing too that I wanted to talk about, right? A lot of people think, oh, are they going to talk about the protocol? What are they going to talk about? And, the bottom line is we don't need to talk about the protocol. We don't need to talk protein, carbs, and fats. We don't need to talk about, are you drinking the enhancers? Are you doing this? What's your favorite meal? Because the protocol works. Just do it, right?
Eat the sheet. I say eat the sheet.
Eat the sheet, right? And let's move on. Let's move past that part of it. That is the basis of it.
That's the easy part.
That it is the easy part. The other part is transforming your mind. So, I also love the fact that these are the words that you live by. We rise by lifting each other, right?
Absolutely.
So, that's what we're here to do with this podcast. And that's what we're here to do as Ideal Protein coaches. Again, when you come in to see your Ideal Protein coach, yes, they're going to coach you about the foods and they're going to talk to you about recipes, but that's 10% of the value of your Ideal Protein coach. Your Ideal Protein coach is to get you to lift your eyes off of your plate and to look into the future and help build that lifestyle, right?
Absolutely. We're going to level you up and help you hit that next goal, next, issue that you're dealing with. We're here to really walk you through this, the struggles, the real struggles. And those are things we're going to talk about today, is some of the struggles, because we know eat the sheet, that's the easy part. So you nailed it.
So yeah, this was one of the memes that I got off your feed as well. Can you speak to this one? I know it's one of your favorites.
Absolutely. So believe. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you believe. So the thing is, you have to feel it. And how do you feel about affirmations, John?
Well, you know what? Well, I could quote my friend Ed, but I get the point, right? Affirmations don't do anything for you if you don't believe them, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I could say that I've got beautiful blonde hair, but I can say that all I want. I don't believe it, right? Because I don't see it, right?
Exactly.
So it has to be something that you truly in your heart believe.
Yes. And if you're not there yet, and I believe in affirmations, but just like you said, if you're never going to have blonde hair, you're not going to have blonde hair. But you want to have something that you can believe in. So bring it back a notch or take it down a level, that you're working towards having that amazing, healthy body, and kind of make it where you said believable. And so once you can see that in sight, then you can start to believe it. Then you can keep changing those beliefs and those affirmations. And later, also taking divine action is part of it. So again, the affirmations are just one little piece of it.
I'm sorry, divine action?
Divine action. You got to take some divine action.
Let's explore that a little bit.
Well, go ahead.
Nope.
So by divine action, you can't just sit back and wait. So if you're going to say, I am, let's say 100 pounds down. So whatever that goal is, I am that. So, number one, are you going to believe it? So number two, you might change that to where you're like, I am working to be the best healthy body I can be. The next step is divine action. Well, you got to go to have that matter of fact, going all in attitude and the mindset that you're going to either, if you haven't found the protocol, or if you're with us and you're on our protocol, that you are going all in. And we talked about that in the intro, where it's like going all in is where you can then achieve these actions that we've set in place and then have results which equal transformation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's another one I want to bring up.
Here we go. One of my favorites.
Yeah, take me through this one, Tracy. We're gonna talk about this.
So just like you were talking about with phase one, don't start a diet just focusing on phase one's over. And when we're talking ideal protein, we're talking phase one, the weight loss phase, that you're, as we call it, peace out. No, like high
Right.
five, like you said,
Yep.
we were talking about that. Out the door you
Thanks,
go.
Doc. I'm out.
But focus on the lifestyle. I like to say rubber meets the road when we hit our stabilization and into maintenance, because that's where the beauty lies. You change all this and you get that weight off and you make these long-term lifestyle changes. That's where doors open in your life. And there's so many beautiful things that come from that. Just like you lost your weight. And even since then, now look where you're at with your marathons. I even recently just went through my own reset. And that was for me also being in my own head as well. And so I had a little bit of fluff that I had put on, and I was not being all in. I was, for most people, it was, I still was within my means with my body fat and everything, but I had to go back all in, change my mindset, and, go for it. Believe it, set the intention, and take divine action, and really owning it and being open to, the possibilities of where I was going to go. Because I was kind of dabbling myself. So we all can be there. So there's no wrong, no shame, because we all can be kind of at a place in our life where we can just be like, kind of go with the flow. So,
Yep.
So
Well, and
then,
that's the thing too, right? So we kind of talked about the concept of being comfortable, right?
oh,
And living life in comfortable,
gotta
but
get
then
on.
instead getting inspired to go next level, right?
See?
And that's what you and I talked about. Both of us kind of spent the beginning of 2020 just deciding that, you know what, this year we're going to go next level, right? I'm going to go to a place that I didn't think was possible. And, consequently, I'm pretty close to being in the best shape of my life. And I'm in my 50s.
Same, in my 50s. And I'm pretty much
I don't believe it.
best shape of my life. Well, just the one over 51. I'll admit it. And same thing. I had to lead in faith and not fear, not tell myself stories.
Mm.
And so everything you and I are out here sharing, we walked in that walk.
Right.
We've been
Correct.
on this journey. We've had obstacles. We've overcame. So we had to get uncomfortable.
Yep.
So to get where you want to be, you sometimes have to get uncomfortable, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, no. And that's the point, right? We speak from our personal experience. And I always say, if God had not let me get to that pit, to the bottom of where I was, then I could not fully understand what all of this is all about. Truly, if you've had that transformational experience, then all you want to do is help as many people as you can transform their lives too, because you know what's possible.
Absolutely.
Right?
And
so
it was
also answer me this, Tracy. Answer me this. I saw you during your next level transformation this year, and in all your posts and your pictures. And, I tell you, in the middle of all of that, this whole pandemic hit, right?
Yep.
And, for me, I know that my dedication to my goal, my dedication to what I was achieving in my life was something that I was not going to give up, pandemic or not. And for me, it was the thing I credited as being one of the things that really helped me make it through and struggle through those first 4 to 6 weeks were rough on everybody.
Absolutely.
What was your experience?
How I look at it, it was in the beginning, it was, I never had fear. And it was kind of like, just knowing that it's gonna lay out how it's supposed to lay out. And a lot of people though, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but every commercial is food. Mm-hmm. So during this pandemic, it is all about food, and they're constantly playing them. So get on Netflix and move, as soon as that commercial
right,
get out of the room. But for me, I was going through some major things, career as well, on the other side of this, which most of us have dealt with, some relationship things, major things in my life. And it's like, okay, it is time to get a grip. And I was dabbling in some things, and I was trying to be open, not making decisions. So I had to go all in. And so that's kind of
Yeah.
where this led. And it's like, you know what? I'm home. I'm going to do this. I'm going to live my best life now. So it's time to design my best life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it started.
Excellent. And then, again, you put the time in the gym, you put the time in the kitchen, and got yourself to an incredible level at this stage of the game, right? It's not about just here's another one that I absolutely love. It's not about, I should, I'm going to, I'm planning, you gotta do it, and you gotta get results. If you're not getting results, the effort, it's not about effort, it's about results. Take me through this one.
It is about results. And I kind of like to say it's that no matter what attitude. I'm just every day I had to refocus, and that's okay. You have to have your eye on the prize, and you have to know, and sometimes you have to remind yourself a couple times a day and check in, because there's going to be thoughts that come through your head, and they're going to have the little saboteurs, and we can talk about that. But all that can happen. So it's like, you're going to bolt through and level up and rise above the plate, as you say. And so it's just really, being ready for that change, and know that, I'm going all in, and I'm not stopping until I get there, and whatever that desired outcome is. So it was just blind faith of keeping it going.
And that's the thing. You keep referring to this, and I want you to flesh it out maybe just a little bit deeper for our people. That no matter what attitude. I think what you're referring to is getting that vision in your head of life possible, getting that vision in your head of your why. What is so important to you that you are going to go all in 100%. And no matter what happens, you're not going to let any person, place, or thing get in the way.
Spot on. I will say I did create a vision board, and I had my personal, I had some career and my fitness goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that visual. I had affirmations. I'm always about gratitude, and a lot of prayer, and a lot of time, spent now very different than we used to be. So it was very focused, because it's like, we have time. I'm home. So I'm going to focus on eating very clean. So for the protocol, I did do the lower carb items, and because I know I have sugar cravings, and it was really non-negotiable for me, because I wanted to see where I could hit. So I had a vision. Like I said, I had a dream board, and I had a vision of what I could do. And guess what? By the vision, by the affirmation, so the affirmations, the belief, and then doing divine action, and then doing it, I got there. And it actually was even surprising in the end, because maybe like you, was like, whoa, I did hit this at this age. So it's kind of like,
yeah, but that's just again, we're finding out that's just a story that we tell ourselves, right?
It is.
Oh, I'm too old. Oh, I can't, that part of my life's over. Oh, it's a story you tell yourself.
I had that story. So when I was kind of hitting menopause, like, oh, this is my new. Yep. I did that for over a year. I wasn't in the gym as much. I kept saying, oh, I'm on the road traveling. I'm this and that. COVID did help with that, with my schedule and my meal prepping and planning. So when we get back to whatever that new normal is, being more prepped and planned, and having my gym goals, back, making sure that I'm getting exercise, getting outside, and having a plan. And having a plan is a key. Meal planning to prepping to everything makes such a difference to that success. But yes, and
I love that, right? I love the fact that you saw, and again, the most successful people that I follow, their immediate reaction to this whole thing was, okay, now we've got this extra time on our hands. What is it that you've been putting off? What is it you've always wanted to do? What is it that now you have time to actually achieve, instead of, are you just going to stay home and eat and drink yourself to death because you're sad that you can't do X, Y, and Z? Now it's more like, oh my gosh, I've been given this gift of time. What can I do with it? Right. And so I got to tell you, I still feel like there's a lot of that available for people. I do feel like, our new normal is still a ways away, and there's still plenty of time to take that divine action, make some incredible changes in your life, so that when we do get back to quote unquote our normal life, that it's easier, it's more exciting, and more fun.
You know what? Just start today. And recently I was working with a coach, training a coach, and we had a client in there, and she was struggling, and she was always looking for the next, event to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's not the event, she said. And we're like, well, how about Thursday? Every Thursday is an event. So every Thursday you're going to, that's going to be your new. Honestly, we don't want it to be just an event. We want to do it
right
to fuel your body. So if you only got one car in your life, okay, one car, how would you treat that one car, John?
Yeah, you would impeccably, right? You would want that to last forever. You'd want it to perform at its best. And you would not fill it with the bad stuff.
So if someone comes and it says that their next trip or a wedding or going to a party or, whatever that is, that's their new weight loss to keep them motivated. How about next Thursday? Maybe Friday, whatever that is, or just to be the best you can be. And number one, I feel the best I've felt in years.
I always bring it back to that, right? It's yes, you probably look the best too, but man, it's all about how you feel. And I kind of feel like, and we'll get to that in future conversation here, but the more that we focus it's about how I feel and what I can now do. That's the most important part of it, not what size am I wearing, or I can get into XYZ.
Just like that glamour part of mine, it's not about really the glamour. Each of us have our own uniqueness, and I want people to own their own uniqueness, right? Yep. But it is, I only have grand dogs now. I do not have grandkids, but when I have grandkids, I will be snow skiing. I will be water skiing. I will be doing everything I can to be the best, fit grandma that I can be.
Yeah.
And, yes, aging myself, we have the readers too. So
I got them.
See? But
so
that we can't change.
So let's get on to the meat of what we got going on here. One of the biggest things that I think that you have to offer people is to help them strategize when people, places, and things try to sabotage their diet, try to sabotage their protocol, try to change their mind as to, oh, you can have this, or you can do that, or, oh my gosh, you're losing too much weight, or what have you. And so we're going to move on to Outsmarting Diet Sabotage. Let's talk about this a bit.
Absolutely. So as you were saying, there's always going to be a saboteur. And part of our conversation today is going to be about preparing for that. So, one thing that I suggest is don't make a big deal about your diet. Some people go in and they're just, oh, I started a diet. And then that starts the naysayers. So just being, cautious with who you share your information, because not everybody needs to know all your, what you're doing. And not putting that emphasis on food. So just don't make a big deal about it. The other thing is, number two, finding different ways to say no. So if you're put in a circumstance where they're offering food, get out of the food zone, feel okay to just be, you don't have to say, oh, I'm on a diet or I'm on a weight loss program. You could say something just as, I'm allergic to this, or, I'm fasting. I have to go to, my doctor tomorrow for some blood work. Whatever you feel comfortable with, especially if it's, people that you don't want to share things with, just find different ways to say no. And I know, do you have any different ways that you tell people to,
Well, yeah, I think you really hit on a point. Your first point is very important. Don't make a big deal that you're on a diet, so to speak. Just even using that word triggers so many different emotions in other people. And so much of what people will then say to you is more about them than it is actually about you, right?
Yes.
So, I always coach my people, and it's always my strategy just to go in, let's say you're all going out to dinner, right? And you go ahead. Now, number one, I've already done my homework. If I'm in phase one, if I'm on protocol, I've gone online, I've pulled up the menu. I know exactly what I'm going to order. I know that if there's something that's not perfect the way that it's stated on the menu, I can get them to change something. But I'm not going to be, oh my God, you guys, I'm on this crazy diet, and I just, all I'm going to have is water, salad, and a piece of meat. Certainly that's going to bring everything down on you, right? But if someone does, hey, what's going on? You on a diet? I always like to have my people say, you know what? I've recently found out that I am carbohydrate intolerant. Boy, I tell you, sugars and starches and stuff, they wreak havoc with me. And I'm on this medical protocol right now. And I haven't felt this good in forever. I wish I could have the cheesecake for dessert tonight, but man, I know if I eat that, that's just going to wreak havoc with me inside. And I want to stay feeling this good. So, I'm going to pass by.
What I love about that is the science part, and people usually don't, argue with anything that is about your health. And It usually stops that conversation. So taking out those words, like we said about diet, and making a big deal like, oh, I got to eat this or that, just being very aware that having those medical conversations, and dropping that in is just a good way to stop some of the saboteurs.
Well, that's the thing, right? It disarms them really, because anybody that's going to push you to eat something that's not in protocol, I mean, how are they going to look, right? You've got this medical condition. You just figured this out. Chances are they have this medical condition too. They just don't understand it yet. And in fact, it might open the door to conversation. Well, what do you mean? Oh, well, gosh, I tell you, I used to get indigestion. I had reflux, irritable bowel. You might not want to say that, but let's just say the bathroom's not as fun as it should be. And you know what? When I stopped eating all of that stuff, I truly didn't understand how it was affecting my health. And now I've got all this energy. I feel fantastic. Even my arthritis is going away.
And that, you just nailed it, because usually it can start a new conversation. Now, if it doesn't, and we were kind of mentioning the saboteurs, usually it is all about them and what's coming from their lens and their perspective. And it's not about anything about you personally, and it's maybe how they're going to feel and look. So before, if they were eating and you were eating the same thing, now it's going to make them feel bad because they're not eating, or they're, continuing to eat bad food. And right. So it's their own issues within. So that leads us into kind of, some of the next things that we're going to talk about down the road here with some courageous conversations. But the last thing kind of was build up your willpower. So, do it for you, it's your choice what you do. So building up your own willpower is really all about you and your choices, and who cares if they, don't like what you eat. That's where making sure your audience, and you don't have to share things with everybody. So again, not making it a big deal. The conversation you said, John, and how you tell your patients is perfect. I love it. And then just making sure that that, this is about you, and you are feeling amazing. And so you don't want to go back, because if you start eating that, you're not going to feel that same way. And it's pretty instantaneous. I know it is for me. I know immediately if I start eating something that's not healthy, boom, done deal.
And so, so just got back from vacation yesterday, and, it's funny because it didn't go crazy, but every once in a while, a little bit here and a little bit there. You're on vacation, right? I mean, but truly happy that that's not my lifestyle anymore. And, truly understand the consequences of having some bites of dessert or having some of that. I'm not getting a Twinkie off the shelf, but man, when you're at a 5-star restaurant and, they've got the best cheesecake in Charleston, you're going to have a bite. right?
Have a bite.
But
Absolutely.
yes, again, very happy to be back in my zone at home and back in the lifestyle, because it does. Absolutely. And that's a huge point, right? A huge point is just, that's the goal, is to be able to control how your body feels, instead of it being just one big mystery. Why do I feel this way? Why do I have this? I know exactly now why. What foods will give me what, and what's going to happen.
Yes. So there's parts of your life where we were saying surrender control. Those were issues that I've had to do in other parts of my life. But in what we eat, we can control this. And so when we have that control, it actually is really empowering. So a lot of people will say, oh, so much is going on and I'm so stressed and I can't control what I'm eating. But really, honestly, we do have that control. So if you want control, you can control what you put in your body and how you feel from it. And,
Yep.
And yes, go on vacation, enjoy. I do a 3-bite rule, or share things if I'm on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I had a client years ago when I had a clinic, and they called me from an event and they go, well, how big are the 3 bites? And I'm like, oh. And they were sending me pictures and I'm like, no. And
Wow.
get away from the food, get away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Kind of funny.
All right. So let's take this even one step a little bit deeper. You talk about the concept of having courageous conversations, and this is taking it past the superficial. Oh, I'm out with people and I'm just turning down something. This is taking it more, in fact, probably closer to family, closer to people who are close in your life, and having a strong conversation about your new diet and lifestyle and what you're trying to accomplish can be hard for both sides. And this is one of the biggest things that we coach our clients through, and one of the biggest things that our clients struggle with. So can you take me through that?
Absolutely. And so this is kind of some 5 whys of having a
Right. Why would we want to have these conversations? Yeah, that's
absolutely. Yeah. And then we can share some scripting. And what I encourage you to do is kind of, we have these 5 whys. We'll put it, John can expand it on the screen because they're so hard to read, especially for us older people. Number 1 is courageous conversations, why we have them. Something important needs to be discussed that requires a lot of courage. So I'm going to say to plan ahead, because if you have this planned, you're not going to react. So we want to be proactive. So why does this important thing need to be discussed? Well, number 1, it is not being discussed. No change or awareness will be seen, resulting in a buildup of frustration, which we know that frustration can go into a blow up, or, because these are strong emotions, especially around your weight or dieting or body image, can really be something that causes a lot of frustration. The situation does not set well with you and makes you feel uncomfortable. We know that. So why does the situation not sit well with you and make you feel uncomfortable? The next one is because it goes against what you inherently believe is correct. So if someone starts, bashing or discussing or, saying, oh, you don't need to lose weight, it's really going against maybe your value at that time. And, you're struggling with that. So because your inherent beliefs are represented by your value system. So anyway, it's all about why, the 5 why technique. So why have these conversations? More importantly, just being prepared and being, able to plan ahead for when this happens. And we have another kind of document that we can kind of go over, but John, you gave a great script in your conversation of how you tell your patients, to discuss things. We're going to go on another feeling side a little bit with the next portion, because some things, like you said, with family, it's not just, having discussion maybe with dinner with your friends, but the people that matter most in those deep relationships and you want to make sure that your tone is good. You want to make sure that you're coming from a place of love, appreciation, and kindness, because these are, like I said, they're courageous conversations. They can be tough. So number 1 is being intentional about choosing a time to have the conversation. This doesn't just have to go around weight loss. So this is in every area of your life, right?
And, I was thinking about this while I was putting together the slide too, right? This truly can be applied to many parts of your life. And I think one of the reasons why we adopt the bad lifestyle habits that we adopt are because of the root cause problems that we're dealing with. And if we're ever going to be successful in not returning to those behaviors, we need to address those problems. And I think that that's where this courageous, I was so empowered by reading this, but so yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so you're spot on, because it is truly in all areas of your life, and being proactive rather than reactive, because that's where we get in trouble. And so if you can do this in all relationships in your life, it will change things. So these are just good things to, think about. So number 2 is open by naming what is present and stating your intention. So number 1 was, choosing the right time. So if you might want to ask for that, like, is there a time that I can speak to you about something?
Yep.
Number 2 is having a clear intention about what that is so that you can clearly present it to them. So number 3, don't accuse or assume, rather own the interpretation of their behavior. So I have an example here. I felt really hurt when you I felt really hurt when you made those comments about my diet last week, because I have a history of really struggling with my weight and my body image. I'm finally finding peace around food and a program that's working for me. I'm sure it wasn't your intention, but when you said that, it made me feel like I'm not doing good enough. So again, those are feeling statements, and you're putting it on you for your feeling. The other thing was number 4, have a clear ask. So just be really clear about what you want and your outcome and how you want it to come across. And number 5 is really important. Be open to dialogue, because they're going to have their perception and their lens on this, and it might not be congruent or what you feel, but you want mutual respect and mutual honor, back and forth. So if you've, in a kind, loving, and appreciated way, tell them what, you would like to maybe change that point of view of talking about food over to talking about, what's going on in current events, what the kids are doing, or, something besides food, that you don't have to focus on weight, body image, diet. You're always on a diet, So if it's, let's say it's a mom, you're always on a diet, or a husband, those things just immediately send out triggers. So if you can have these conversations and just ask them in kindness, and then at the end, again, ask clearly, come from love, and then open to dialogue. And again, you might not agree, but if you can come to an agreement of how you both will react to this situation, that's where the beauty lies. Because you don't always have to agree, and you don't always have to persuade them to be on your side or vice versa, because we all have our own individuality, and it's just appreciating that. But if you have these courageous conversations, and it might scare you or bring up anxiety, but in the end, it will change a lot of things. That makes you vulnerable.
And I got to tell you, I'm running through a list of clients in my head who have been in this situation, and how many different. One of them that comes to mind, though, just blew me away. I had a client who recently showed back up after about 2.5 years of, again, high-fiving me and on the way out. And, darn it anyhow, she had found her way back to her old lifestyle, and she had gained the weight back and more. But the fascinating part of the whole thing was she had also found love, and true love, just something that her eyes lit up when she talked about her husband. And God, I was so happy for her, and yet so sad at the same time. And she said, yeah, we got married and we had our honeymoon, and we've just been home. Just, he is an incredible cook, and, we've just been getting bigger and bigger and together. And she said, I finally got up the the gumption to say, I can't do this because, I feel terrible again. And I just, I have problems with this. And so she even said, that's it. I'm going to call the fat doctor because that's what she nicknamed me. Right. So, that does it. I'm going to call the fat doctor. And actually she called me and came in before she even told her husband. And she shared with me that she was scared that, that what he was going to say, but she knows that she had to do something. And, he really likes to eat and he really likes to drink. Well, wouldn't you know it? She went home and had the courageous conversation.
Oh.
And he was all in. Okay, well then what are we going to do? I said, here's the thing. I love people who have spouses who are good cooks. Because I don't know if you've seen any of these games, these TV shows, right, about cooking. But here's a perfect game for somebody who thinks they're a good cook. Give them the phase 1 sheet and say, I want you to make me the best dinner you can make using this list of foods and spices and seasonings, and see what they do. Man, he's not doing the protocol, but darn it anyhow, he's down I don't know how many pounds. She is twice as happy as she was when she came in because it's really working for her. Of course, he's knocking it out of the park, but she was scared to death. She had, like I said, she'd found happiness and didn't want to lose it by having that conversation. And I think that we build up a lot of that fear in our head, and we keep putting off that conversation. And 9 times out of 10, we have the conversation, and it just takes the weight of the world off your shoulders.
And it was nothing like the story we have been telling in our head.
Yep.
And you know what I love about your story there? Now her husband, and together, because I say bring in an accountability partner, that's how you make it a lifestyle.
Yep.
Because if he's the cook and loves to cook, now they've discovered new ways of doing things, and that becomes the new. And so, because most people have 8 to 10 of the same meals all the time.
Right. Yes. I say that all the time. You'd be surprised. Most of us eat 15 different foods during our week, and, it's in the same ones all the time. So if we just choose those foods properly while we're in maintenance, we love the foods we eat. I don't eat anything that I don't love. Right.
No.
And it's
and you
just
get fats, you get, there's some, and great vegetables, and preparing them right and having seasoning, bar none. But Absolutely. That story is perfect because that courageous conversation has now got them both going to this new level. And now she'll probably stay and keep that weight off and hit her goal.
Exactly. And now what are going to be the brand new things they're going to do together? What kind of possibilities, what life possible does it open up for their marriage? To bring it back to Ed, I never thought that we'd be talking so much about marriage during this, but
it's true. And you have to have self-love first. Mm-hmm. So once you have that self-love, which she loved herself enough, then you can go from me to we. And then later, what they're doing is working now that they've been married, is working on the we. And people, I say that it's so hard to, we don't want it hard. Relationships aren't hard. It's like we work so hard to get there. So just, evolving and growing. So they're doing that with their health. And now they're going to keep growing together.
Together
that's the power. That's, she did it herself, and so now cool. Together. It is cool. We got off on the relationship thing, but it means it's all the same thing. Courageous.
All right.
Work everywhere.
So I knew this was going to go long, and we've only got a few minutes left, but I did want to finish up with the final graphic that I had borrowed from your feed that I really, really love. Talk me through this one.
So again, I'm all about the butterfly. So, and what we do for ourselves and for, all of our, when we've been coaching, is we take them from that beautiful cocoon to the butterfly, and they truly transform. And I don't know about you, but when magic happens, when you see the potential and pure potential in people, and we're there to elevate and lift you, And as a coach, that's what we do. And I coach the coaches too. So, I mean, that's still what we do. But when you see and that magic happens and they get it, I mean, I get goosebumps. It's why I do what I do. And so I'm constantly looking for pure potential in people, and I always look for the good. So that's the meaning for me.
Well, and you know, I love the graphic talking about your wings already exist. You just have to learn how to use them. And, you know, you and I talked about how when a client comes into your office, you know, we can see their inner beauty well before they can necessarily even see it. Right. And it's just, I kind of feel like, and we agree that, you know, it is our job. It's our goal to bring it out of them. It's already in there. We need to coax it out.
Yes. And when they have to want it too. And so when they really go all in, amazing.
And I always say that, you know, to some people, it's just, why do I want this for you more than you want it for yourself? You've got such potential. You've got such, it's right there in front of us, you know. But I think
do it. We can lead you to, just like I said to my kids, I can lead you to water. I can't make you drink. You know? So same thing.
Yeah. But that's the joy of being a coach. Whether you're coaching clients specifically, whether clinic owners and coaches, because same thing, same way there, right?
Absolutely same.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Tracy, I want to thank you so much for all the time, energy, and effort that you have put into this podcast. You put together some handouts and some documents and things that we might be able to make available to our viewers.
Yep.
People are interested in that. We'll figure out a way how to do that. I hope that this is not the last time that you will be on the podcast. Certainly we'll extend the invitation now. I would love to have you again in the future.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been awesome.
Good.
All right. Thanks, Trace.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you for being patient and waiting for this episode to come out. I know that everybody's been excited to hear what Tracy has to say. Again, she's so popular and such a legend in the Ideal Protein community. I hope there was something here in our show that resonated deep within you to help make you reaffirm a decision or make the decision to pursue your life possible. It's in there. Your inner beauty is in there. Let an Ideal Protein coach and clinic help bring it out. So worth it. If you've made the decision to start the Ideal Protein program and you're in the Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. area, you're near Centerville where we are, please look up Barnes Chiropractic Health and Fitness, my clinic. Otherwise, if you're in the Nebraska, Houston area, Tracy, if you find Tracy, she can get you to a clinic that she knows will help you the best. I also want to say that, I'm constantly working on future episodes. And I keep getting more and more excited about these episodes. Our next episode next week is going to feature this lady, Melissa Hazek. Oh my gosh. So we're going to the Great White North, Canada for this. Let's see, she's in Alberta, Canada. Melissa lost over 100 pounds using the Ideal Protein protocol, and that was 7 years ago. She's managed not only to keep that weight off, but now she has been an Ideal Protein clinic owner herself. She is a prescribing pharmacist, and she's helped over 1,000 patients lose over 40,000 pounds. She's given numerous national and international presentations on therapeutic nutrition, and she absolutely loves doing what she's doing because she's actually trying to get people off of their medications instead of prescribing more medications. She's gonna blow your mind. We're gonna have some great information for people who are dealing with chronic metabolic diseases, etc. We're going to go into the importance of how this Ideal Protein protocol can change your metabolic health, which today is at the forefront of everybody's lips. And last but not least, thank you so much for all the support that you've been giving me over the past couple of weeks. My last episode with Ed, boy, I tell you, it crushed any previous numbers we had, and I really feel like this podcast is on the verge of becoming something that I've dreamed of. So if you could help me out, please share, send this podcast to people who need to see it. Go to iTunes and Spotify, subscribe and download for me. The bigger I can get those numbers, the more I can maybe seek some sponsorship to help me out, defray some of the costs, and actually improve the quality of this show. I've got so many different ideas as to how this show can get bigger and better, and I need your help to do that. So help me out with that, and I'm going to go back to the drawing board and start working on the next episode. So until then, keep pursuing your life possible.